Billy Napier, the Florida coach, has joined us now, and talk a little Gator football and then a whole lot more. Great to see you. How are you?
I'm outstanding, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to be on here.
We appreciate you stopping by. These things tend to be a whirlwind, don't they? A little bit.
It's really a cool day. I think it's a reminder. It's right around the corner, and coming off of a break, obviously. But no, we're I think a much better place. I feel really good about year 2 and excited to get to work with this team.
Bill, you had a lot to build at this play. We know that, from facilities to the culture, and the last thing that comes is the roster. And we all know that's how it works. How do you feel about going into year 2, where all that rebuilding is? Are you comfortable? Is it where you wanted it to be?
I think ultimately for me, we have completely rebuilt the player experience.
Okay.
And I think that we've hired really well.
Yeah.
I think that's an extremely important part of what we do. And we are improving. The analogy I'm using is, it's one thing for the student to be learning the material for the second time. It's another thing for the teacher to be teaching the material for the second time, right? So there's a compound effect of year 2. But I love what I see. And people, the outside is not in our building. They don't know our players. They're not observing what we've done since January. So it's a lot of fun. I think you almost trade a year of your life away when you take on one of these challenges. And so to kind of feel like, man, my chin's finally getting above the water here.
I get it.
You've got systems built. I think there's some sustainability and repeatability, a lot of adjustment and a lot of things to correct. But overall, I'm really excited.
Bill, you were really careful where you were going when you were at Lafayette. You had multiple opportunities. Knowing this situation, knowing the 3 guys prior to you couldn't live up to what was there, right, and knowing the build-out that you had, how do you preach, okay, look, it's going to take some time. This is not an overnight thing.
Well, we knew what we were getting into. We did extensive research going into the job. And to be quite honest, one of the reasons that we took the job was I think we felt like we understood why Florida had slid. And I think we had a great arrangement with the administration that the facilities were being built. There was a commitment to create this infrastructure and modernize the approach with the staff. And, I grew up when the Gators were dominating college football, right? The Gators, I remember my middle school, high school days was Coach Spurrier. And then when I was a young coach at Clemson, Urban Meyer won 2 national championships, right? But we're 15 years removed from that.
Right.
And I think I'm excited about, hey, look, we've improved our experience. We've got a great product. People care about this place. And, I think we're hitting it just right. I mean, the 12-team playoff starts in 24. Mm-hmm. That changes the game relative to the path to winning a championship. So it's not easy, but, I mean, we knew what we signed up for when we took the job.
So you almost think you're on schedule then because, like you said, the playoff's there. You got another year here. The next year, when the playoff hits.
All I'm consumed with getting better, right? Like, what can we do better, relative to our processes in-house, the approach we take throughout the year. I've got a ton of confidence in the people we've hired, and I'm excited about the administration, their belief in what we do, how we do it. It's a great place.
Billy, I've watched Florida my whole life. We know the program really well. Last year, and this had nothing to do with you, Florida did not have defensive talent, maybe as bad as I've ever seen.
Right.
Now, you had a really good recruiting year last year. Now T.J. Searcy and Kelby Collins and Will Norman and more Florida SEC-type players are there. You're having an enormous year this year in recruiting.
Right.
But for this team now, you got Banks transferred in. You got Jackson transferred in. How much closer is this defensive talent to what Florida has seen?
I'm excited about some of the new pieces we've added. We're going to be young, like in our 2 deep. There's going to be true freshmen that are out there playing.
Yeah.
There's going to be some growing pains that come with that. But we got a lot of players that are in year 2, and I think we have a lot of players that are very capable of making an impact at this level. I don't think people quite know what I know yet. So we're going to have some young ones out there playing, safety in particular.
Yeah.
The second player at a lot of spots could be a true freshman on the edges.
Yes.
Those guys will be a factor in the secondary. I'm excited about the 2 corners, Moten, the young corners. I love the front 7. I think we did good work in the portal, height, length.
Yeah.
Cam Jackson and Caleb Banks. You'll find it will be hard for you to find 2 more impactful defensive linemen in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're big guys too.
They are. They're athletes too.
You were a quarterback. You've coached the position forever. You've called plays forever. It's in your blood. So the position now at Florida, you know how important it is. It's everything. Where are you right now, the position in Florida, and where do you see the position developing in the future?
I like, obviously this offseason we added Graham Mertz. I'm excited about him. 32 starts at Wisconsin. That is you're in the spotlight. He's been through some of these things that go with playing quarterback at this level. He's played over 2,000 snaps, and when given opportunity, I thought he played at a really high level. Now, you meet Grant Mertz, that's what you get excited about. You meet the person, the leader, the worker, very disciplined. He's done a great job being intentional about connecting with his teammates. Very much a professional. I think this guy's one of the best quarterbacks in the country coming out. Like, if this guy was committed to us right now, he's the number 3 quarterback in America.
Yeah.
We'd be excited about him. And we got him, and he's got 32 starts of experience. So I think he's in great position going into training camp with the competition. I've been really impressed with the way Jack has responded. It's made him better because here comes Graham Mertz on a mission. Graham's almost on like kind of a new lease on life, so it's fun to watch, and I would say Graham's going to make our team better.
Yeah, he and Kingsley and Ricky just stopped by and raved about what you just said, how he connected with everybody, not just played, practiced over, he went and connected, because connecting matters, man.
No doubt.
In your culture, it really does. Is it an even competition? Are they close? I mean, I would think Mertz is ahead, but is he or no?
Well, I think we've been kind of dividing the reps up this summer in OTAs, and we'll see the work, Early on, we'll make a decision, and I think we may go to the first scrimmage, which is practice number 9, get through that first layer of installation. For the most part, with the way we practice in 2 spots, all those guys get a ton of reps, right? So it's healthy for them too, because we're getting reps, we're rolling players through, we're playing different lineups. There's not a ton of difference between running with the first and second team to some degree.
Does it help? Obviously it does help, but how much does it help? You got a veteran guy like him, you got one talented receivers, but Mizell and Trey Wilson and Andy Jean, they're young guys now.
Yeah.
Does it help having an older guy play quarterback with those young guys?
No doubt, and even more importantly, in that receiver room, to have a guy like Ricky Pearsall, who's a consummate pro, very disciplined, relentless worker. I've coached some great receivers. Ricky Pearsall is a heck of a player, and we're going to be very intentional about using him this year. And we're going to have the receiver room is kind of like we were just talking about on defense. We need that young talent to feel the urgency that comes with game day, and then grow as the season goes. They don't know until they actually experience it, right? So, they're going to have to earn it. But I imagine that those young receivers will have an opportunity to impact their team.
You're more dangerous out there, right, than you were last year. Like last year, it was almost predictable once you got past the first couple guys. Now it's.
I think that we're going to need some of these guys. There's going to be players that have roles. I like Caleb Douglas. I like the way he's emerged. He played as a true freshman last year. There was a run there where he made some plays for the Gators.
Against Vandy,
yeah, made some against South Carolina, made some against A&M.
Yeah.
So I think any of these young players, that was their first experience. They get so much better in year 2 because they know what it's like now. And they train the entire year getting ready.
Yeah.
And, there's some growing pains with some of the true freshmen, but the portal players, the returning veteran players, it's healthy. I like our team. It's fun to go to work and have a team you like to be around.
Yeah. And that's part of the culture, right? I mean, you got to build that, and I get the sense that's built there. I mean, I just getting to know you, watching the guys, talking to the guys. And by the way, you get 2 NFL running backs. That's got to help too, doesn't it?
Right, no doubt.
Yeah, and so
it's a good place to start.
Yeah, you're calling plays. Are you tempted to run more? You want balance, I know that, but I mean, those 2 running backs are like really good. Is it tempted to lean there?
A lot of what we do, man, the ball gets distributed based off what the defense gives us. Nowadays every run play that you call has perimeter tags and run pass options. And so we need to be efficient and distribute the ball. We need to feature the playmakers that we have. And there's ways to be intentional about getting a receiver the ball. There's ways to be intentional about getting a running back the ball. I do think our tight end group is kind of like safety. There's going to be young players playing. These guys will earn it. They'll prove they're some of our better skill players, and then we'll design every plan around that group.
Hey, Billy, before we let you go, the buy-in. You always talk about the buy-in. Do you see it in their eyes now? Because you always talk about we got a lot of grass to mow, but you can see it, right?
Yeah, I like our team. I like being around our team. No team's perfect. Every one of these coaches that show up here, they, behind closed doors, they got their issues. I can promise you. But I think we have less issues than we had last year. Let me put it that way.
Right.
So we're it's going to be a fun team to coach. And I kind of tried to say that earlier. I'm proud of this group. It's kind of a renewed sense of accountability starting in January. Nobody's got much good to say about them, so I think they're excited to get out there and prove it.
Well, that was my last question for you, and I asked all 3 players. Florida does not have the expectations here that it typically has had. I got to believe if I'm a young guy, that's a chip on my shoulder, and I'm chomping at the bit. Is that what you kind of just said it? Is that what you're saying?
These guys are very aware. There's no trick in the players, They also look around there and they say, why can't we be good? I think that's kind of, I tried to say it earlier, we're not going to allow anyone's outside opinion or created narrative to define the reality of this team, right? We're going to go earn it. And I think ultimately that will prove to be an advantage for us early, and then when we have some success, can we handle it? Last year, every time we had some success,
that's
right.
We beat Utah, we get beat by Kentucky. We beat Missouri, we get beat by LSU. We beat A&M, South Carolina, we get beat by Vanderbilt. Right, so that's been a big emphasis with our sports psychology people this summer. So handling not only failure but success and having the ability to create some consistency and have that reset. We got a mature group that I think will convey that message to the team when that time comes.
Billy Napier, the Florida coach. Thanks for spending some time. It's great to see you.
Great to see you.
Good luck
guys,
this season.
Man.
Thanks, Billy.
You. All right, guys. Thank you all.
Billy Napier, the Florida football coach.